Want to know how to build the most strength and muscle with a suspension trainer? Watch this.
Our next caller is Lisa from Michigan.
Hey, Lisa, how can we help you?
Hey, so I don't know if you guys read my email, but I'm retired law enforcement. I'm in a flight attendant now, and I'm going to be 54 this year. And I'm finding this job is very, very challenging on my body, and just a lot of the repetitive moves and just carrying the luggage and just the whole job in and of itself with the hours. And I've just been trying to do a different type of workout program, and I bought your TRX program, and I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks in my hotel room. And I'm just kind of trying to get my body more in line with mobility and TRX before I go back to lifting weights again. And I just kind of feel like I don't really know what the TRX is doing for me. I don't want to lose muscle, but I don't feel like I'm building muscle. I feel like it's more like a cardio routine, and just wanted to get a little bit of advice as to how I should move forward with what I'm going through right now with my body, my job. And, hotel rooms are kind of sketchy. You never know if you're going to get a good hotel room. So I don't even always have access to weights, but just how can I incorporate the TRX into my routine? This is something I usually do in the hotel room. Should I add some dumbbells? Should I add a kettlebell? Should I add some bands? Just any advice along that lines. And what can I really expect from your TRX program as far as aesthetics?
Yeah. So first off, it's not a TRX program. It's a suspension trainer program. So TRX is a brand of suspension trainer. So it's like Kleenex or tissue, right? But anyway, it's called MAP Suspension.
Sal's just trying to make sure we don't get sued.
Yeah, that's the thing right there.
Yes.
No affiliation here. Okay.
Yeah. But nonetheless, there's a couple things that you said in the question that you emailed us that I'd like to address. One of them is you feel like your body is really out of alignment and your digestion is really off. Okay, so those still stand? Those are still accurate?
Yeah, I'm sure. They say it takes like a whole year for your body to get adjusted to flying, and there's going to be a lot of issues in that area. I mean, I'm still feeling it. It's been in it about a year and a half. I still feel it. I think the digestive enzymes have helped a lot, and I've been going to add a probiotic. So that's still there, but it's definitely not as profound as it once was. But yes, definitely still there.
Yeah, I don't know if I would add anything. Now, what can you expect from MAP Suspension? It's a strength training program. You're just using a suspension trainer and body weight instead of dumbbells. You should notice more strength, more muscle, better movement and mobility. But based off of what you're saying, the way you described your job, about it kind of being demanding and repetitive motions, and reading your email, I think you're overstressing your body. And I think adding anything to what you're doing physically is going to just make things worse. So if I were to add anything, it would be something restorative and recuperative. Either that's working on sleep or meditation, or something that's more restorative, like walking or stretching. Maintaining, sleep patterns is probably a big one for flight attendants, because you're probably traveling to different parts of the country and the world. So, you may be going to bed when the sun is up, or waking up when the sun is down, or vice, whatever. So those are the things I would focus on. And if your digestion's still not great, I would work with somebody, a functional medicine practitioner, like a really good one, will be able to address some root cause issues for you. And then when that gets solved, boom, all of a sudden you see your body start responding again. We have a forum on Facebook. It's free. It's called MP Holistic Health. So anybody can join it. Go on there. Dr. Cabral and his team answers questions, help people out. And then if you want to do further testing, you can do that. But I think that would be a good resource for someone like you. And I've trained flight attendants. I've trained pilots. And the demand on the body that the travel and the time change has cannot be understated. It has a tremendously stressful effect on the body. In fact, you can see in the data, same thing with shift workers, reduced lifespan and increased risk of things like heart disease and cancers, because it is a big stress on the body. So what you don't want to do is add more stress if that's the case. And I'm going to guess right now, and I think I may be right, that that's probably the case. And so I would say let's work with somebody that can look at the root issue. Start with digestion. If digestion's off, everything's off. I would look at that first.
Yeah, two things I just wanted to kind of touch on for the suspension training program. And you mentioned it, like you kind of got a cardiovascular feel from it. There are ways to intensify you know, how you're doing these exercises and to get closer to the anchor point at some points, and also like really like stabilizing your body and holding this really tight position all throughout your body to be able to perform it is really demanding. And to slow your cadence down, to really slow that tempo down and make it more so of a strength exercise. So if you're not doing that and you're just kind of going through the reps of it and working your way through and not really paying attention to, is this really demanding enough for me? You can scale that by either coming closer or away from the anchor point.
So I'm so glad that Justin said this, because right away when you mentioned this, it took me back to my Orange Theory days. So I had the opportunity to train and teach Orange Theory classes for 2 years. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not, but part of the training protocol is 30 minutes the people are doing cardio. The other 30 minutes they're working in the weight room, where we primarily use suspension trainers. And we would go through what would be considered a strength block, where we're doing like 5 reps or 6 reps. And what I'd constantly, so this what you may be feeling or notice is very, very common, because this was more common than not, that I'd have to go over and tell people that were using the suspension trainers to slow down their tempo on the exercise, meaning like going from that exercise to that exercise and that exercise. Let your body rest and actually slow down the rep the exercise. So let's say we're doing chest press, and make it more challenging. Increase
the range of motion with it too.
Yes. Slow it down, make it challenging and hard, slow it down, go deeper into the press, and then press. So versus this kind of like get it to an angle where it's easy enough for you to kind of pump it out and then do the next thing, or wait and then do it again. I would tell them, like, let's really try and make this difficult. And if you do that, you absolutely will get the strength and muscle building benefits from it. But if you do, like a lot of my clients did inside Orange Theory, where they're kind of just going through the motions, then you will get more of just the cardio aspect of it, just the heart rate elevating and a little bit of a sweat and burning calories, but you're not getting real muscle soreness or noticing muscle being built. And that's because of how we're using the suspension trainer. So definitely
make it strength training.
Yes.
Yeah, I do play with the moving away from the anchor. I do play with that, but you're right. I probably just go into the motions, and I just need to get a little bit more mind-body connection. So that's probably why, because I definitely sweat and my heart rate goes up, but I just don't feel my muscles at all. So I'm probably just need to slow it.
And if I'm giving it, so again, if you're a client of mine and we're going to go back to a suspension day. So let's say the program calls for, and I'm just going to use the chest one because I know it's in there, the chest press for 10 reps. I'm actually even okay if you fail at 8. I'm going to tell you to position your feet. If you do 10 right in front of me and you pump out 10 with good form, easy, I'm like, no. Let's move your feet even further back. I want to see you like struggling to get that 10, just because of where we're currently at, just to make sure I'm pushing you in the strength direction more.
I would say, even just to prescribe to you personally with this, I want you to hold 2 to 3 seconds at the bottom of each rep. So that meaning you're overemphasizing the most difficult portion of the rep. So that way you get connected, you get that kind of grinding response that you need. So it emulates more of a strength exercise.
Love it.
All right. Well, I appreciate the tips. I'll definitely reevaluate how I'm doing it and go from there. But thank you so much. And I think I'm part of that group, so I'll just have to go in and ask a question. I think I've just been kind of reading on the post for the holistic. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you,
All
Lisa.
right.
Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
Yeah, good advice, guys, with the suspension trainer. I think the way that they've been used for so long, and she mentioned TRX, right? They've done a great job of partnering with lots of group exercise classes.
Yeah.
Which they say they're strength classes, but they're all cardio classes. And so when people use suspension trainers, especially if they have any experience with them or have seen people using them, they don't treat them like weights. They don't treat them like strength training.
I'll tell you right now, they're guilty of it. So they launched their thing, and they used to have TRX classes where they have all these, and it's all taught in a class time music form,
like circuit training.
Yeah, and even if their intent, it's just like Orange Theory. So one of the things one of the things that drew to me there, aside from having a friend that owned the franchise, was when I looked at the programming, I was actually pretty impressed with their programming, but the adherence to the programming was terrible because they got music going and they give scores for calorie burn and stuff. So it's like, It almost seemed like there was two different people that built that business. You had like a very smart trainer mind that understood programming and knew how to cycle through phases and
And you had
exercises.
the entertainment experience.
Yes,
person. Yeah.
and they tried to force them together, and what they may not have considered was that the entertainment high energy thing was going to overshadow the good programming that was actually in there, because nobody was adhering to it. Everybody was in this race, and so they're just going through the suspension trainer, and I'd watch it. I'd be like, I see what the program says on the TV, like, oh, this is a 5x5 block, and we're doing 5x5, but everybody's like banging out the 5, then over the dumbbell curls,
Yeah,
and
make
over
it
the
as
shoulder.
hard as fast as
Yeah,
possible.
and just turn it into a sweat game.
This is just one of those things I like readily recognize, because I can make some of those exercises insanely difficult.
Yeah.
And I just and I would show my clients just little ways to tweak it, and then they'd be like, oh my God, and they wouldn't be able to do it. It has that ability. It's just the intention of going into it. And really it's about the tempo of it and the range of motion.
Well, that's also why I love the thing so much, because it really can be for someone relatively new, a beginner, and be great for them.
Super advanced.
To super advanced. I mean, you can definitely progress those things. Like to your point, Justin, to make them, you can bring an athletic, strong person.
I could
and,
destroy people.
Yeah,
with it,
and I'll
for sure.
break you off with some straps easily.
Awesome.